This week on NintenDomain, we're going to talk about all 97 of the Nintendo games. And
California.
And you guys can say something now.
Hey, we're live, but I already forgot what I was going to say.
We're live. I hope, right?
I get 50,000 on Double Dragon.
And I love the Power Glove. It's so bad. Yeah, that was not what I originally meant to say, but I forgot. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I threw on some Vision Streetwear. There we go.
That's enough of that. Remember when we wrote lyrics to that song, Jeremy, way back when?
I do.
When it was a praise song.
Yeah, I wrote a praise
I never
song.
heard these lyrics.
I don't remember them.
Yeah, it's a good. Oh, I mean, it's pretty easy. It's like praise the Lord because He's good, and it's just that you say that like 3 times.
Oh, and then
at the end, it's like praise the Lord because. Good. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's
pretty fun.
That's what that is. Anyway, hey, this is our first live podcast on the internet, on the YouTube. We are your hosts. Damn. Find my soundboard here.
Join us on our first
we're your hosts.
podcast.
I'm Trey.
Yeah, well,
I'm Trey.
I have 97 of them.
You know all 97 of them?
Johnson.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm John.
I'm Jeremy.
Wait, hold on.
Mikowski.
And John.
I'm John.
California!
Well,
we're already crashing here.
Doing all right. We're doing all
so
right.
40 minutes late too.
47 minutes late. Technical difficulties. I'm sure it happens every time somebody does a live show.
Hey, Mario 3 was delayed a lot,
we're,
so.
Yeah, like every other Nintendo game. We want you want to think of us like Ocarina of Time, right?
Right.
So you can delay us constantly, or Breath of the Wild even.
A good game can be delayed eventually, just like a good podcast. Or something like that. I don't remember what he said.
Yeah. Anyway, this is our 100th episode. Crazy. Big 100. We're here to bring you all the Nintendo news that you want from fans like you. That's us. We're street level podcast news here. That's what we got. Do you guys want to talk about news first? Or do you want to talk about games that we played or bought this week? We can do one or the other. I'm good.
Let's do the games first.
All right, let's do what we normally do on the show and talk about the games that we bought this week. I ended up getting paid for a bunch of shoots that I did finally, so I dropped some cash on the eShop. Well, first off, before that, I bought Resident Evil Revelations 2, and I used the PayPal discount thing that's out there. If you spend over $20 on PayPal, they'll give you a $5 credit, so I ended up they basically take $5 off of your $20. So I bought Resident Evil Revelations 2 for $15. That was cool. And I've been playing that game. That game's a lot of fun. It looks a lot better than Resident Evil 1, and it has a lot of cussing in it. Some pretty funny cussing. Nice. So that's interesting. But it's cool to play. So I recommend it if you like Resident.
Did you think this cussing was in Xenoblade originally? I think I remember you talking about that.
I might have. Spoilers for future episodes, but I might have thought that at one point.
Yeah, you said that in the future.
But yeah, Yeah, well, I was confused on it, but yeah, no, it's and Barry's in it. You get to play as him. So I know everybody wanted to play as Barry. There's a lot of they make a lot of jokes about the Resident Evil 1. Like you basically see both of Barry's lines, like Claire Redfield, like you're Claire Redfield in it, pretty much, and Barry's daughter. And there's a part where Claire like says that she'll become a Claire sandwich instead of like Jill sandwich. And there's also like a Master of Unlocking joke as well in there. So they like to reference shit. But yeah, it's fun to play. But aside from that, I also bought ukulele last night. Yesterday.
Oh, you took the plunge.
How's that?
I did, just because I've been waiting around for ukulele. Oh, fuck. I've been waiting around for ukulele for so long that I was like, I should get it. I should get it now. I've been waiting forever, and it's out now, and I've always wanted to play it. And we've been talking about it for like years. I feel like on the podcast, and it's finally out, and so it's just like, you know what? I want to have my own opinion on it. And from all the reviews that I've heard of the Switch version, it's definitely the best version of ukulele. People are praising that. Like, it doesn't really have any... I haven't run into any technical issues aside from my controllers seem to be like losing sync with the system when it's in handheld mode, which I don't know if that's the ukulele or if that's just my system, because when I was trying to like tweet stuff through the system, it was doing the same thing. But like they'll basically, the Joy-Cons will like disappear, and I have to like hit L and R and like reconnect them like every like 30 seconds or 2 minutes or whatever. So that sucks. So I was dealing with that, but playing it on the TV, it works fine, like with the Pro Controller. So hopefully that's not a Switch problem, because that would suck if it takes away like the best part about the Switch. Like all of a sudden it's not portable, then it's kind of like.
I know, that's strange. Usually those syncing issues happen
especially
when it's stocked.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was with the Joy-Cons. Like, they kept, like... So... Oh, are you guys not hearing me until later?
No, I think that you're not hearing me until later.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, I mean, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Sounds all right over here.
Maybe I'm the one who's...
What do you think about the price, though, Trey? $40?
What?
What do you think about the price? $40? It just seems like a lot to me.
I mean, that's how much the game is. They didn't bring down the price. So I understand. I mean, that's kind of, we're in this like beautiful days of the Switch where it's like, whatever you release, people buy it, seems like, for the most part, unless it's like some indie stuff that gets swept under the rug because there's so much shit on there. But, I mean, they released Doom for $60, even though you can buy it for $20 on PS4, and people still bought it. So I think that's just kind of like it's just kind of the state we're in on the Switch. I mean, they released Skyrim for $60. That's a 5-year-old game. Yeah. It's like, I don't think that game's worth 5 cents, but people bought that too.
I was thinking about buying ukulele. I almost took the plunge last night. I'll probably buy it, but I was rationalizing to myself that I paid $40 for Color Splash. So, I can give another game a try that maybe be like mediocre instead of great.
Yeah. Speaking of something that's $40 that's not worth it, this is a news thing, but I'm going to say it anyway before I forget. I found that you can buy WWE 2K18 on Amazon for $39.99. It's actually completely sold out right now, though. But I thought about it for a second, but I'm glad that I did, because it got reviewed on IGN, and it's the lowest reviewed Switch game out of all of them. It got a 3.8 out of 10. I've watched videos of it on YouTube. And pretty much the consensus is that it's pretty much unplayable for any matches with more than 2 people in it. So that's awful. I said it really needs a patch to fix it in big time. So that sucks.
I was actually kind of excited for that game, especially after our WCW episode. Got in the mood for wrestling games again, and I thought about buying it, but yeah, well, I wouldn't buy that for 3.8 though.
Yeah, I mean, I would wait to see if they need to like release a patch that fixes it, but I heard it's all sorts of broken. Like, I've watched some videos of it where, like, you can't get back in the ring, or like guys aren't hitting each other, and like the audio cuts out. Like, I'm sure you've noticed it sometimes, like doing streams or whatever, Jeremy, where like your microphone isn't connected right, and it's like
yeah,
like that. Like, that's what I was like, it's like it shouldn't sound like that, like where it completely. Well, I guess sometimes Doom's audio would drop, but it would just like go down. It never sounded that bad, like where it's like, where there's only pieces of it. I don't know, but people still buy it. I still see people online playing the game, so I don't know. And it's like I said, it's sold out on Amazon for their $39.99 price point. So
maybe they're hoping it'll
whatever,
get fixed eventually. And everyone's buying it, just in case.
But ukulele, there's no audio problems, and it definitely runs really, really well. Any of the issues that I saw people say about the PS4 or Xbox One version of it is not there. Like, there's no screen tearing or there's no, like, drop frame rate. I think it looks really good. I think it looks really pretty. There's some weird design choices in it that I was talking to John about earlier. Probably the stupidest thing, like my major gripe with the game right now, is that you have, like, a power meter. Like, kind of like, if you played some old superhero games, they would do that where, like, you could only, like for Cyclops, you could only shoot his eye beam for however long. It's dumb. But imagine you're playing Super Mario Odyssey, and you do the move where you, like, roll, where you do the roll move, and you can only do that for, like, 30 seconds, and then you have to recharge your bar. Like, that's basically what ukulele does to you, and that's really annoying.
So all the special moves,
like, you get
take up a power meter?
Yeah. Which is stupid. Like, I don't know whose idea that was, but they should have shot that down in the meeting room. It's like, why? Because there's a move that you do where, where, like, Laylee or whoever runs on the other guy and you, like, run faster, It's like kind of like the move where Kazooie would, like, walk with his feet, and it'd make you run faster. And you can only do it for so long. And there's, like, races where you have to use that the whole time. And you have to collect these butterflies to, like, refill your meter while you're doing this race. So it's like makes the race a lot less fun, because once you run out of gas or your meter, you're pretty much dead in the water. Like, you have to, you can run really slowly, and yeah, so that sucks. But aside from that, it's fun. There's some cool bosses that I played. It definitely feels like a 64 game, like a Banjo 3 or whatever, that type of thing. Yeah, Grant Kirkhope's doing the music, and you can definitely tell. It sounds a lot like it could be on the Banjo soundtrack or the Donkey Kong 64 soundtrack. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I give it, like, a full recommendation yet, but I mean, I played it for, like, 3 hours last night and had a lot of fun with it. But I've only played the first level, the first, like, world. So I haven't gotten to the casino yet. The casino's supposedly the worst, so.
Did you feel compelled to collect everything before going to the next level?
Play it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of stuff to collect. Like, there's like feathers that you collect that you sell to this snake named Trousers, and he gives you new moves for giving him these feathers. And you collect pages. You collect, like, a book pages that are called pages, like jiggies. And when you collect a certain amount of pages, it adds to the book and it makes the level bigger, which is kind of weird. Like, you'll collect, like, 4 pages or pages, and then you leave the world and add the page to the book that is the world, and then you go back into the book, and then the world's bigger. So there's, like, more stuff added to it. So there's, like, more, pages or what you can get out of it. It's basically the way it works so far. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I'm having fun with it. I mean, I definitely want to come back to it. I'm not gonna stop playing it, But that's my impressions of that so far. But I mean, it's kind of up to you. Like, it was mere curiosity for me, and like I said, we've been talking about ukulele for a long time on this show, and it's finally out. It was supposed to be a Wii U game, and it didn't come out for that, so it was kind of, yeah. So I was like, what? It's out. It's on Nintendo. I should just get it. I've been waiting for it to come out forever. Now it's out, and I'm just that was my that was how I basically convinced myself to get it. But it's kind of up to you whether you want it or not. I can't really say, like, oh yeah, you should definitely get it. But from what I played for it so far, it's not. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's by any means a bad game. It seems like a 7, like a solid 7
it's
out of
another
10
3D
right
adventure
now.
game right now, and those are my favorite kind. So
yeah,
it's worth a try.
So those games don't really exist as much as they should anymore. So that's Yeah, I mean, it's either this or Poi. Like, which one do you want? You know, if you want more 3D platformer action, that's not Super Mario Odyssey. You know, but it's cool. Also, Romancing Saga came out today. I haven't played it yet, but I bought that. Romancing Saga 2. It's I just listened to the Retronauts, but they were talking about apparently Saga. The original Saga game was Final Fantasy Legends 1 on Game Boy straight up way back in the day. And Saga is like a series, you know, is that series, and then later it was changed to Romancing Saga. Anyway, this is like an old school 16-bit RPG, and I love those games, and it's $20. And I was really excited that it was coming out because like just got announced like last week. So I got that one and downloaded it, and I think that's it for
is it like
for what I've gotten so far. There's actually
updated?
The Romancing Saga 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like from what I saw in the videos, it looks like it originally does, but they made it like widescreen and like, you know, made the sprites HD and all that stuff. But I'm going to stream that today at some point after our live show, so if anybody's watching us, you could watch me play that later. I'm going to start from the beginning and stream it on
That'll be on
the
Twitch,
Twitch
right?
world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could stream it on here too. I thought about doing it on here in case we have. I can't tell like whether we have anybody watching us or not. So I don't know. Oh, there's the live chat. Anyway, yeah, that's my purchases. I got 9 parchments, but I haven't played that game yet. So that was kind of a game to get. I bought it to play co-op with Jess. So we haven't had time to play it yet. But yeah, I kind of just dropped some money on the eShop and just, you know, I figured I was going to do that.
Cool, yeah.
Cool. I bought a carrying case for my Super Nintendo Classic this week.
Oh,
that was my purchase. Yeah.
Travel with it?
Yeah. It hasn't arrived yet, so but I probably will bring mine home for Christmas.
Is it like does that have a handle
why
and
not?
everything?
$20. It does, yeah. It's it kind of looks like the one that I have for Switch. You know, I got this one for Switch. Kind of looks like this.
Okay, cool.
It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's not plastic. It's not like that the original Game Boy carrying case or anything like that.
No, it's not like that. The one that I had for my original Game Boy was actually just cardboard covered in like vinyl.
Yeah.
And it was like super cheap. Remember those things back in the day? It was just like, you know, it's for kids, whatever. But now they make them really nice. And it's the same material as that standard Switch one.
I think I have that
Okay.
Switch one too.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't pick up Human Fall Flat?
No, I didn't. I thought about it though. I still might get that one. It looks pretty fun.
I heard it's a lot like Octodad. That's why I mentioned it. It's like
I
a
like Octodad, so yeah,
Yes.
I'll probably get it.
crazy,
I really want to
like
check out Floor Kids.
weirdly moving thing. Yeah, I haven't checked out Floor Kids yet. Polybridge is out now too. I remember you expressed interest in that game
How much is that? Another
for the
$20 game?
indies. Polybridge? I think so. I don't know. What was it? SteamWorld Heist is coming out on the 28th. Like that just got put up for like stuff coming up later. And also another one of note is that whatever it's called, the Smash Brothers the Smash Brawlout comes out on Tuesday. You can pre-purchase that. That one's only $20. That's kind of something I wish that we could, you know, if we all got it, we could play it online and try to like stream and all that. I'd like to do that someday. Jeremy and I tried to do it for Worms, but it wasn't really working. But hopefully, eventually, I'd like to do some sort of like online stream thing where you can like hear all of us talking and show like stream the game. Also, is what I'm hoping to do in the future. So, yeah. But if we all got Brawl Out, we could play that game. You know, it's pretty cool, and it's only $20. Like I'm gonna get it probably, but it'd be cool, yeah, if we could all play it online or whatever. You know. But I think
might get that.
That's the big. I think that's the big releases of note for this week. Get my Switch right here so I can look at it live. I guess that's kind of that's our news, like sort of bleeding into the stuff we bought this week, but that's fine. No big deal. I bought a Nintendo related gift for a Polybridge is only 15, Jeremy. So it's even less.
That's the magic price point.
14. Yeah, $14.99. Mutant Mudds is out now too. I mean, if anybody played that, I had it for 3DS, but I didn't play any of the later ones after that. But Mutant Mudds was done by Renegade Kid, the same guys who did like the great those crazy horror first-person shooter games that I can't remember.
Yeah. Moon
Delirium
and was it Dementium the Ward?
Oh, Dementium, yeah.
Yeah, Dementium and Moon. Yeah, right. Which I do have Dementium 1 and 2.
Oh, and then they did Moon like in a weird
re-release of
episodic way on 3DS.
Yeah, I ended up getting it. It was in the it was in the Humble Bundle, but I had already bought it before that. Yeah. So, yeah, there's some stuff of note that came out. But it's crazy. They're still pumping out oh yeah, and there's also there's a Japanese Hiragana Pixel Party comes out tomorrow for $9, so I'm going to get that.
What's that?
It's just a game. It's like a mini game that helps teach
hiragana.
Yeah. You know, there's like hiragana, katakana, and kanji, the Japanese symbols. For like the past, like, I don't know, however long I've been trying to slowly teach myself Japanese. So that's I was gonna try to, because I did actually buy a teach yourself Japanese game for Wii U, but it was too hard because you had to download, because you had to like pretty much all the kanji stuff and all that.
I took a Japanese class in college, and within the first month or so, I could read it phonetically. Like,
oh really?
Some of the basic stuff. I didn't know what I was saying. Sounded out. Yeah, but I could. It's not. It seems like to me it's not as complicated as some people might think.
Yeah, actually,
it's still pretty hard. Like the kanji and stuff.
Yeah,
not everybody knows all of those.
I think that's the hardest part is the symbols, writing it and all that. But the actual speaking of it is easier because like the way Japanese works, it's like kind of more simplified. It's like mostly adjective. If you know a lot of objectives or adjectives, you can say a lot of stuff pretty much. And the way that Japanese sentences work is kind of like the way Yoda talks. It's pretty much like everything's backwards. You know, it's like, where like you say the subject first and then the rest, or
that's the way a lot of foreign languages.
Yoda speak.
Know what you mean? I do.
Like Spanish and French and Italian and all that.
But apparently you can get a long way just knowing descriptive words and stuff like that, because you can just basically say a couple and get by like that. I don't know. I've been listening to Japanese podcasts. It's a completely side note. That's not Nintendo, but yeah, the hiragana thing is $9.
I guess that would be helpful if you ever went to Japan.
It's yep. So yeah, that's coming out. Brawl Out's coming out. Oh, I wanted to mention it. I forgot to mention it last week because it wasn't up there yet. But the Mom Hid My Game, that crazy game, has shown up on the coming soon. It's coming out. It's coming out right before. Well, it's next week. It comes 21st.
I forgot about that weird ass game.
I'll probably get that. I mean, it just looks so stupid. I want to try it out.
Yeah, that weird game from the Nindies where they showed the Mom Hid My Game, which apparently it's been out in Japan. It's only $5 actually. So
I'll get it.
I get it too. It's $4.99. I mean, that's probably. I mean, I know there's some $3 games on there, but that's about as cheap as you're gonna get on the eShop for a game. So, yeah, we should all get that one and try it out, just because it's such a weird Japanese. Yeah, it is, but.
Oh, yeah, I did download Pinball Effects. I did get that game.
Did you figure out do vertical?
Yeah.
You have to like hit the minus button. They don't really. Yeah, it took me a minute to figure out how to do it because none of the camera options did it, and there are no options.
Do you think you'll know how to do it in the future?
That pinball version seems like. Huh?
Do you think you'll know how to do it in the future?
What?
I seem to remember in the future you didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Vertical mode.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't know how to do it in the future. But yeah, it seems like a very, very like small version of that game though, because you only get like a small percentage of what's available for Zen Pinball, which is kind of annoying. Like you can't get any of the Marvel games, you can't get any of the Star Wars games, you can't get any of like I don't think like the Walking Dead games on there or like the South Park
Walking Dead was on there.
I know the South Park one isn't though, or the Street Fighter one isn't in there. It's like if you're gonna put Zen Pinball in there, you should be able to get at least the Marvel shit. You know, I found it disappointing that it's not all this stuff. 1 second.
I did download a pinball table. I downloaded the Portal one, but I haven't tried it yet. But I figured I'd throw a couple bucks at the game.
I bet that's cool.
Yeah, and it looked really cool, right? I watched like a
teaser
video
that one.
of it. $3, I think.
How much was it?
It was
like
$2 or
$2,
$3.
$3.
Yeah.
I'd do that. I'm gonna fix my hat here. My cat was like crying by the door, and I didn't want her to do that for that long.
Oh, that's why I had to go a second ago. Same reason.
Yeah.
Cat problems.
Yeah. Cat problems. All right. Did you buy anything, Jeremy, or have you been playing anything this week?
I did not buy anything. No.
Do you have any? Have you been playing anything?
Yeah, I've been playing Xenoblade a lot, whenever I can.
Did you make it to the part with the play yet?
Not yet. No. I'm still. I still think I'm kind of early on, but I've gotten. I'm to having 3 characters now that can all have things, blades.
Okay, so you still have Poppy, or did you get a Van Damme?
I got Van Damme. Jean-Claude.
Yeah, so you have 4. Yeah, that's totally his name is Van Damme. But you could take Poppy out of your team now, which is the first thing I did when I got Van Damme.
Like, get the hell out. I just still don't. I need to study, but I still don't completely understand how to upgrade her.
Oh yeah, you have to play that game a bunch, I guess, the Tiger thing, and get all the treasures or whatever. But I was fine with not using him, with just putting Van Damme in there.
Yeah,
she's pretty cool. Once I got to the play part, and that was as far as I got. So once you get to the play, you'll know where I'm at, and then wherever you get past that, you'll be ahead of me.
I'm getting a hang of the battle system, and I'm really liking it. The more I figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of stuff that we bought, well, I didn't buy it. I already bought it, but it just came out. Have you played it? Anybody played a DLC Part 2 yet for Breath of the Wild?
I have not. I'm holding off until I beat every inch, as I said, of the original game.
Okay, so you play it is basically what you're saying.
What's that?
I said, so you're never going to play it is basically what you're saying.
Probably never going to play it.
To get every inch of Breath of the Wild is probably going to take like 2 more years or something, and
Breath of the Wild
3 will be out by then. So
Yeah, I don't even have DLC 1 yet, so I just want to beat the game pure as it was meant to be.
Well, you can't play
100%.
DLC anyway until after you beat the game, so you wouldn't be able to do it yet. But I did. It's part of our news thing, but during the Game Awards last Thursday, and I ended up watching all of them. They were pretty interesting. They had like an orchestra there, and like the Pauline lady came out and sung, Odyssey and all that. And
oh, cool.
I was upset that she didn't look like Pauline. She has blonde hair, not black hair. She should have at least wore a wig. I'm not kidding, but I was just in my mind. I always thought Pauline, but she was wearing a dress like that looks like Pauline. But no, they did a whole like orchestra live, Odyssey ESC song and all that. And Nintendo, basically Breath of the Wild won everything it was nominated for. I think got Game of the Year.
Right.
I know Mario Rabbids got best strategy. I think Mario Odyssey, the only thing it won was best family game, but they did win a bunch of stuff on there. But
rightfully so. I think I like Zelda better than Mario. I think it's a bigger game, a more complicated game. And that's saying a lot because I think Odyssey is amazing.
I like Odyssey better than Zelda, but this will be a conversation that we're going to have for our Game of the Year episode, which will be episode 102. So I want to save some of that for that.
Sure.
But I have thoughts on that, especially returning to Zelda, for DLC 2. It's kind of
I like it so far. I haven't gotten very far into it, but that's the other thing I've been playing this week, which I had forgotten.
Yeah. Have you gotten past the temples?
I've beaten one.
Jeremy?
I've beaten one temple.
Oh, okay. Because that was the part that I liked. Like, you get this like little tuning fork thing that you have to go back to the resurrection area. Which there's a Korok in that bed there, which I never found that because I never went back to the resurrection area. Yeah, there's one in the bed which I was like, oh, crazy. But yeah, you get this like tuning fork that's like it kills everything in one hit, but it takes you down to one hit where anything kills you in one hit. So there's a cool thing where you have to like go and fight like these groups of bad guys, and once you beat them, this like new shrine appears and all that stuff.
They're they're a little hard.
No, they're hard, but there's 4 of them. I beat all 4 of them, and I enjoyed that part. And then after that, it basically, there's like pictures of stuff that's on the map that you have to find, and then I kind of like, I dipped out of it really quick after that, because that's kind of what I hated about all the DLC stuff, where it's like, go find this thing, but we won't tell you where it is. They expect you to have the whole map memorized, and
well, usually
kind of
you'll
annoyed
find
the fuck out of me, because
you'll find a thing that says, like, you could find clues about it at this stable or something.
Yeah. Well, basically what it is like these 4 pillars show up with these, like, pictures of the map, kind of. And I looked at everything on the map, and it didn't look anything pictures. And it's like, you have to go find that thing. And, like, the bird dude with the fucking whatever, he like, gives you some hints about it. And I guess I went to the town, and if you talk to the town around there, they'll kind of give you an idea. But still, that like really kind of put the brakes on it for me. Like once it got to like, oh, look at this thing and go find this part of the map that you don't know where it is. I'm like, yeah, because like a lot of that stuff kind of wasn't all that fun. I didn't think. Like finding like the different parts of the armor in the DLC one, I didn't enjoy that very much. So
no, I never really went.
So yeah. I mean, I like the shrine stuff, but once it got to like go find this place that we won't tell you where it's at, I just was kind of like, okay. But I want to get through it to get the fucking motorcycle. Like during the game events, they showed the Link cycle, which is awesome. We talked about that way back when John was on the show for the first time, our Zelda episode. Remember we talked about the motorcycle from Mario Kart and how Aonuma had like hinted at it before that, that he wanted to put it in a game, and now it's in a game. But you don't get it until the very end of the DLC. Like you have to do all of DLC 2 to get the bike. So if you're like going to go do the thing, John, where you like cover every inch of the game, by the time you get to getting the motorcycle, there'll be nothing left to do ever.
That's true.
So there's an incentive for beating it early and beating the DLC, because then you can take the motorcycle around. Because I heard the motorcycle is great, but by the time you get it, there's nothing left to do, really.
Oh, so you don't have the motorcycle yet.
That's true.
No, I don't. I'm stuck on the parts where you have to go to weird part in the world because of some picture that you see in a pillar.
So it's like the memories all over again, which were they were kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I mean the memories. Yeah, the memories. At least it was like something like a picture that you could see. This is just like a topical picture of like a mountain range that has like a dot in it.
Oh,
which is like, okay, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like, I don't know where to look at this. That's what it is. It's basically like, here's a dot and here's some like green shape. It's somewhere around there. Once you get there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's because I watched a little bit of a stream of it, like when it came out, and I watched somebody taking a picture of these like pictures and trying to find it, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look fun. And then by the time I got to it, I'm like, So all those people that are bitching about the shrines at the beginning, I think that was the more fun part of the DLC part 2, from what I've seen so far.
Oh, I like the shrines.
And there's also supposedly not a whole lot of story. No, I do like the shrines. I'm saying I like that part, but after that, but yeah, that's the other thing that I've been playing. And if we're speaking on, since we were already talking about Game Awards stuff, we can go ahead and go into the news for that, if you want. Continue with the news.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
So, because there's also a big announcement at the Game Awards. Nintendo announced that Bayonetta 1 and 2 will be out in February for Switch, which is pretty cool for anybody who didn't get Bayonetta yet. And Bayonetta 3 got announced as well. Oh yeah, we're live, and there's a video, so
We can show
Jeremy and I can show our Bayonetta amiibo.
I got this on clearance on Amazon.
My Bayonetta that I don't have.
For $7, I think, or it might have been less.
Yeah, your Bayonetta amiibo is probably worth more now, right? Now that it's all coming to Switch.
Well, that's why I bought it.
I would say. Well, you didn't know that it was out yet.
Oh, I guess I didn't. No, I didn't. That was just good luck.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think, like, everybody figured that it was going to come out eventually, you know. But Bayonetta 3, that's cool. We got a nice little teaser of it. That's nice, you know. There was they did a whole lot of world premieres of, like, VR games and stuff like that, too, on the show, which I don't really care about. But I knew that there was going to be some sort of Nintendo stuff announced. And, you know, Bayonetta 3 and the Zelda DLC was worth watching it for, you know.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's all I had for that. Yeah, there's some games that got announced. The Street Fighter 30th edition. That game looks awesome. Did you see that? It has like 12 games on it.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, you should check that out. Like it has it's coming to Switch, thankfully, and it has like 3 different versions of Street Fighter 2. It has like all the Street Fighter 3s, and it has like all the alphas, and I think there's like 9 games on it or something like that. But it looks fucking great. No, you should totally. I mean, we're live, but I was gonna say like go watch it on your phone and come back because the trailer is like great. It's really cool for it. So there's more Capcom stuff that they've added to it, which is super rad. Like I was really really excited about that.
Is it different enough from the other Street Fighter, like the one that's already on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it has.
I don't know if anyone's gonna be PO'd about that. I feel like people would bitch about that on the internet.
No, but I mean, you get so much else. Like, there's no Street Fighter 3 on, on like Street Fighter 3 is awesome. Like Street Fighter 3 is like one of my favorites, and Street Fighter Alpha 3 is on there also, which is like really, really good as far as like fighting games go. Yeah, there's like the Alpha series. There's Street Fighter 3. Like there's the regular Street Fighter 2. I mean, that's you already have in Street Fighter 2, but you don't. These other games are completely different games that are included on this. So that's a big deal for me. Like it looks great. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's like I believe it's called the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition, something like that.
Well, the original Street Fighter came out what, 87?
Must have, right?
So it has to be coming out by the end of the year.
Street Fighter 1 is on the game as well. So if you ever wanted to play Street Fighter 1 in its shittiness, it's totally on there. You can play it.
I actually did play it, Street Fighter 1. We had it.
It's a terrible, terrible game, but it is on that. It is on the thing.
I played an arcade cabinet of that when I was maybe 12 or so at my family used to go on a vacation at this place called Lost Lake in Michigan, and they had a kids room, like a teen room, you know, with the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Games and everything, and ping pong table, and one of the arcade machines there was the original Street Fighter, and I remember being excited to see it. Cool, Street Fighter. And then going to play it, and very quickly realizing this was not the Street Fighter that I thought it was.
No, it's not at all. Yeah. It was
sort of like the
weirdly enough, Street Fighter with
Turtles versus Turtles 2, the arcade version.
Right, exactly. Like immediate disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not very good. It was released for TurboGrafx 16 as Fighting Street, and you could buy it on the Wii Virtual Console. So I have it. I have it on my Wii, and it's not good, but it's it was like $5. I bought it on there just to have it, and yeah. But you can play it on here in all of its shitty glory and all that, But same thing. Like there was a place in Peoria that I used to go to. We would do lock-ins there for the church and whatnot, and it was called the Landmark. It was like a Landmark Cinema, but not like the one that you worked at, John. But yeah, there's like 12 fucking games on here. I'm watching
I'm getting that.
There it is. Oh, I wanted to
I'm not even a big fighting game guy, but 12 Street Fighter games in one, that's pretty cool.
I want to show you and the people at home here.
Does it have an online mode?
12 Street. I'm sure it does. I mean, this Ultra Street Fighter 2 did. But yeah, look at all those beautiful games. It's 12 Street Fighter games. I mean, a lot of them are kind of like different versions of one, but yeah, we got Street Fighter, we got Street Fighter 2. There's 4 different Street Fighter 2s. There's Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, and 3. Street Fighter 3. Yeah, so there's 3 versions of Street Fighter 3. There's like 6 versions of Street Fighter 2, and there's basically the 3 Alpha games. But I'm totally in. Like I love the fuck out of Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter Alpha 3, so I'll play the shit out of that. I actually have I bought Street Fighter Alpha 3 for Game Boy Advance when it came out. It still plays really well. I actually did a YouTube video of it like way back when. You can find it if you search this site what we're at live right now. You can search and find it. But and I bought Third Strike for PlayStation 3 also. Played that online. It's where
have they ever had a Street Fighter collection like this before? I mean,
well, there was a
lot of games.
I have a Street Fighter 2 collection that came out for like their 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary or whatever. It was probably 20th because it was a PlayStation 2 game. And it had the movie on there. It had the animated movie, but it was an edited version, so there's like no blood or whatever. You know? So it kind of sucks because that movie is awesome, but it got the one on the PS2 one was edited, unfortunately. But they did do something like that, and there was a Street Fighter Alpha collection too that I think I bought, but for PlayStation 2, but nothing as big as this before. Like nothing where I've seen Alpha and Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 1, you know, on there also. Right. So it's crazy. Yeah, I'm super, super psyched about it. It'll be fun. So I guess it's nice that Capcom is giving a shit about Nintendo again. I guess they realized, hey, we can make a lot of money off of this Switch system. And speaking about making money off of the Switch has sold 10 million units. You guys saw that? That was on my news as well to talk about.
It's going to catch up with the Wii U really soon.
It's like a 4 million away from. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like it's 4 million away from the Wii U lifetime sale in like not even a year. It's pretty rad. I went to I really wanted for our live show. I really wanted to have a live eating of Nintendo of Mario cereal, of Super Mario cereal.
Yeah, I've been looking.
And I went.
No luck. I
went all over the place to try to find it. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the Grape Nuts one, which is like the ultimate like decoy, you know, where you see Mario on there and you get excited, and then it's not it.
And it's Grape Nuts.
But I did go to Target looking for cereal, and I did find Super Mario cereal, but I probably found like 30 switches. Like they had so many switches there. They even have an end cap that's like all switches.
I almost just bought the Grape Nuts with Mario.
You found the switches, but not the cereal. Wow.
Yeah, no, I didn't get the cereal, but I found a ton of switches at Target. Like there were a lot of them. You know, like they're on. You know, like where they put stuff at the end of the aisle. You know, like this is our new big thing. Yeah, there's basically like probably 20 switches at the end of the aisle, like right before the electronics section. And it says like huge Christmas item, you know, whatever. It's basically like buy one. And while I was there, somebody was buying a Switch. So it's happening,
Somebody had a good day.
Nintendo's on top of the world. Yeah, he bought a Switch and Super Mario Odyssey, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, go for it."
Way to go, kid.
Yeah, make it. It was an older dude. He was older than me. I think he was like 50. He was buying.
He still said, "Way to go, kid."
Yeah. Well, I was just listening to what the Target guy was saying to him, and I just overhearing him like, "I'm gonna make sure he's telling him the right shit here. Like, don't be steering him wrong." But he bought Odyssey, and I'm like, you know, he got it figured out, and he like bought a case.
That's what he's doing.
And I'm like, yeah, his day's made. He's got a fun time ahead of him.
Yeah, I went to Walmart recently looking for Mario cereal, like you said, and they had like 10 of them, and they had like the Splatoon special edition and everything. They had all the controllers, they had everything, like all the different versions of the 2DS. So it's like Nintendo's definitely ready for Christmas this year. That shit's awesome. But I saw these two little kids playing Mario Odyssey on the kiosk, and they couldn't have been more than like 5 or 6, and they were just like having such a good time. Like it just made me really happy, like thinking about, you know, how everyone loves that game and how magical it is.
Yeah, yeah. Reminding you of when you were in a youth playing Mario 1.
Yeah, just playing the games kiosks at the store and like flipping out over all these games and stuff.
I know we mentioned this in previous episodes, but Is it a? I know the Super Mario Verse is coming up. That's supposed to come out next week too.
Just in time for Christmas, huh?
Arcade game is supposed to come out on the 22nd. So that's pretty cool. And was it Double Dragon supposed to come out on the 28th too?
The original Double Dragon, huh?
Double
the
Dragon.
arcade. I know we
Not
mentioned
Double Dragon 4 again. Don't fall for that, anybody. That was terrible.
Yeah, right. I figured that would be your regret of the year when we get to that category of episode 102.
Maybe so. I don't regret buying it just because I wanted to try it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that later. It's a disappointing game.
I know what mine is. I'm not going to give spoilers, but I know what my
regret
is. Actually, there's a couple. Yeah.
But there's definitely a
For
biggest
games.
regret.
Yeah. It's I don't want to talk about it yet, but we will, of course.
I don't want to talk about
something we completely didn't do last week that we totally missed is Pikachu got cast for Detective Pikachu.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah,
saw that, right? Ryan Reynolds is going to be
Deadpool,
the voice of Pikachu. Pikachu, yeah.
Dead Pikachu.
That's kind of crazy, but kind of awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's. I know a lot of people were pushing for Danny DeVito, but Ryan Reynolds will be probably pretty good.
Especially
they should have Ryan Reynolds play. Yeah, well, that if it was all live action and it was just him being like, "Hey, look at me! I'm a detective. I'm angry. What's up?"
Pikachu.
Yeah, but yeah, there was that trailer where somebody just like put lines from him from Always Sunny doing the chew thing. But yeah,
rum ham.
But yeah, Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. That's I mean, I think that's a movie worth seeing, right? I mean, I think people will see it just to be like, "What the fuck?" Like, we know that he would be in a Nintendo
hopefully
game,
that's
especially
the role of his lifetime,
or a Nintendo game. Yeah, right. Above Deadpool is his Detective Pikachu role.
That was his real passion project. You know, he just did Deadpool so he could get this Pikachu thing off the ground.
Yeah, right.
He had to
It's like Kevin Smith starting to write comics. He's like, I'll start movies and then I get to play Pikachu eventually. That was his lifelong dream when he was when the old Pokemon came out. I know that the Detective Pikachu game hasn't come out here like the Japanese one. It doesn't have an American release date or anything. But I hope that they, like, when they localize it, they get him to do the game, too. To get Ryan Reynolds to do the voice for the game. That would be awesome. If they could
makes sense.
Do a simultaneous release with him on the game also, like, I'd be totally into that. Because the game's
There's no way they're not going to bring the game out if it's already done and then they have a movie coming out.
Yeah, it's been done in Japan, I feel like, for like a year at least, if not more. But it's a 3DS game. But, I mean, they have to bring it out in some form. Hopefully, maybe they'll put it out for Switch, or maybe they're still supporting 3DS, so you never know. They might bring it around for that.
I've never been into Pokemon, so maybe this is the avenue that will get me there. Detective Pikachu, maybe.
Well, Detective Pikachu is nothing like Pokemon, so it might get you into it. I mean, it's more like Professor Layton, I guess. You know, like more like, you know, it's not anything. It's not like the RPG, the turn-based RPG. Like, none of that stuff's in there. So
right.
It might be what will bring you around to that beautiful yellow rat and its shockingness. Let me make sure. Check my notes. Made a lot of notes to make sure that I wouldn't forget anything for our live show. You know,
like we've already done a few times.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we do it all the time. Every time I edit, I'm like, there was for your birthday. Remember, we were gonna like talk about games that you got for your birthday. We never actually did that.
Yeah, I don't even think we mentioned it was my birthday, which was fine.
Yeah, we didn't even. It was Jeremy's birthday like a few episodes ago. Wish him happy birthday in the comments.
Yeah, in the chat right now, if you're in there, if anyone's in there.
We have
what games did you get for your birthday?
What games did I get for my birthday? I haven't gotten a lot of games for my birthday. I bought games with my birthday money. So I guess my favorite one would probably be the first Zelda 1. I bought it at a pawn shop for $10 with my $10 bill I got in one of my birthday cards. Actually, it was my 10th birthday, I think. So, that was appropriate.
Yeah. There you go.
So that's the top one, but otherwise,
one of my.
I think Trey bought me Harry Potter one year for my birthday. Chamber of Secrets. That was pretty cool for GameCube.
Was it a Chamber of Secrets or Sorcerer's Stone? It was the second one. It was whatever the second one was. That was Secrets, right?
Yeah,
I don't know
Chamber.
my Harry Potter stuff that well.
It was Chamber.
Okay. Yeah, it was like a cool Zelda clone with Harry Potter in it. It was a decent game. Like I liked it. It made me interested into Harry Potter.
Played all the way through.
And I know you read the books. And, yeah. So I remember getting that for you because it was cheaper. The GameCube one was. I was just thinking about, there was one birthday, this kind of coincides with our topic of the week somewhat, but did any of you guys ever call Nintendo Power? Did you recall the count line? Did you ever do that?
No.
I did it a couple times, and there was one time what?
I wasn't allowed.
Oh. I did it a couple times for certain things, but there's one time that I called them, and like while we were on hold or whatever, the dude was like talking to me about Ken Griffey Jr. and he was telling me about how I should get it and all that. And I was a kid, I was impressionable, so he totally sold me on getting Ken Griffey Jr. And I did end up asking it for my birthday, and I remember it as a memorable birthday because I got Ken Griffey Jr. and Super Metroid on my birthday, which from like one from my sister and like one from my mom, and I was like, it's like the best birthday ever. I got two Super Nintendo games. Like that's my most memorable one. There's one year.
That guy just like checked off his quota of games that he sold to Nintendo Power Line players.
Yeah, it was so funny because I had no interest in sports game whatsoever, but he was talking to me on the line. He was like, "Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's like arcade. Like they like chew bubble gum and it's funny, And I'm like, okay. And then I asked for it for Christmas, or asked for it for my birthday. I think I'd rented it. Of course, I rented everything back then. Before, would always rent games and play them for a while before I got it for birthday or Christmas or whatever. But just remember that one in particular because I got two Super Nintendo games, which I don't think I ever got that for my birthday. So this is a big deal. I think that's all I got for news. I'm sure there's something I'm gonna remember later that I forgot. But if you guys want to head into our topic, we can.
Sure.
Before we do that, actually, I got a couple of Nintendo items I wanted to show off.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Because I know you guys gotten to show a couple of things, but I'm live on video here for the first time. So
our 50th episode, we did our show off stuff, but John wasn't there. Well, you were actually there for the Super Mario Run part of our 50th episode, but you weren't there for the video stuff. So anyway, yeah, show us what you got.
Sure. Yeah. First, I'm just going to show you a couple of things that you guys remember from Club Nintendo. I got a couple of those rewards here.
Back when it didn't suck.
So I have.
Back when it was cool.
These cards here.
Hanafuda
cool.
cards.
The Hanafuda cards.
Nice.
It's a cool little set, and you pop it open. There's these tiny little cards inside. Kind of tough to pop open. You can see inside there's this box, which is a little bit stuck right now. And I've never actually popped this open, so I don't want to do that right now, but there's the box of little cards.
It's just one big fat card.
Yeah, it's still like sealed.
Still sealed and everything, yeah.
Very
cool. So next I've got these platinum playing cards. I think this was one of the last rewards that they gave out before they shut down.
Was that a gold reward?
This was a platinum reward.
Oh, okay.
It says platinum on the cards.
I've got the set of pins.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That box is awesome. There.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Dude, I like that.
And that's unopened to it?
It's kind of unopened. I had it in storage for a bit and something fell on it and it popped it open like that. So it's a little bit damaged, but things are fine.
That's so good.
That's freaking cool, man.
And then I got this Game & Watch ball.
Oh, nice.
This was one of the This is like the most expensive reward. I saved up for like 2 years. You know, you buy games and everything, and it adds up to a certain number of points. You got it too. There it is.
No, this is my girlfriend bought this for me. Just a friend of the show.
Nice.
This is like actually one of. I think this is like. It's like this is actually one of the first.
Oh, that's one of the originals. Oh, got it.
Maybe this is the second. It's like one of our first Christmases together. She actually bought me an original Game & Watch. This is the Donkey Kong one, so it's super cool. It's
cool.
It doesn't work right now because, well, I mean, it does. It has no like off or on, so I took the batteries out so it won't like drain. But it does work. It's hard as shit, but first 2DS or first 3DS or regular DS.
Just DS.
Red. It's up here. I have like my shelf up here. I keep it up here next to the. I have it going in order. It's like the Game & Watch, and then the old Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance and SP and so forth.
I've never actually played an original Game & Watch before. That's pretty cool.
Well, if you ever come up to Chicago, you can play mine.
The Donkey Kong.
Yeah, she got me the Donkey Kong one, which is probably the best one to get, right? I mean, because good old DK's in there.
Cool. I got this creepy thing right here.
yeah, I got that too. Mine's back here somewhere.
Yeah, I see it.
But it's back there. Right back there. You see it?
I wish I remember what happened to mine.
For those who don't know, before the DS came out, their marketing campaign was "Touching is good," and if you were on their email list, they sent you a random mannequin hand in the mail.
Yeah, right.
And as you can see, this has no branding on it whatsoever.
It doesn't say
not like this is Nintendo. Hey, buy a DS. It's just a random mannequin hand that they sent you. And it was awesome. I think it was one of the best promotions ever.
Yeah, the best, most weirdest Nintendo promotion.
Weirdest.
Yeah, the Nintendo hand.
Next time I got this. This is a Super Mario comic.
Oh, nice.
From the Nintendo comic system.
Yeah, that's like. Is that from the Valiant? I remember Valiant. I used to read in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like Exo Manowar on Valiant. I don't know if you know, but it was cool. They had some cool shit. There was whenever I bought my first appearance of a Ghost Rider, it's in like a case, and there was a Valiant comic behind the Ghost Rider comic to push it up against the plastic so it wouldn't get dusty. So that was like the first time I found a Valiant comic. I thought it was pretty hilarious.
I know of Valiant comics is they had the Super Mario Brothers and they had the Legend of Zelda comics.
Are those the ones that were in Nintendo Power? You know?
No, there was that, but this is something different, as I understand it.
Nice.
Published independently of that.
Okay, because I have the trade paperback of the collection of the ones that were in Nintendo Power for.
Oh, right, yeah.
Get those.
Yeah, this is different.
But I mean, the art style reminded me of the Nintendo Power one, so I thought maybe that was what it was.
Next, I've got this thing, which is pretty cool. I found it at a thrift store in San Diego. This is Double Dragon 2 for the Atari ST.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But if you pop that open, it's like, I never had an Atari ST. I really didn't know about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the Atari ST?
What is Atari Street?
It was just the stuff that came on the inside. So this is the game.
Oh, it's a floppy, or the hard floppy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this is, I forget what this is. Let's see what this is. Some kind of book or a poster or something. I completely forget. Oh, yeah, there's the Double Dragon 2 poster for Atari ST.
Cool.
Nice. Right.
There it is.
Right, you don't have that up in your little...
I should put this up.
Yeah.
I should put this up. Next I was talking before about in our future episode, I was talking about, in our future episode, I will be talking about the Sega Activator. So this is the video cassette that came with the Sega Activator. And this tells you how to calibrate your activator.
Nice. I like all the stops on it.
All the stops, yeah. Be sure to watch this before you plug in your activator, guys.
Well, there's not much tape on that tape.
I wish I...
no, it's like a 10-minute tape or something.
Yeah, there's not much at all.
And you can actually find the contents of this tape on YouTube. Somebody put it up there.
Of course.
So look up activator calibration, and you'll find out what this has on it. It's pretty funny. It's totally radical. Hey, dudes, stop what you're doing. Whoa, skateboards, all that stuff.
Gnarly.
Whoa.
I'll show you something that's posted right behind me here. This is one of my favorite things. As far as I really like the stuff that comes with video games, like the advertising materials, all the stuff that people kind of throw out over the years and forget about, whatever.
Yeah.
So this is a advertisement for the GameCube, which I got from the Toys R Us that I reserved my GameCube at, and they gave this to me when I reserved it. And so inside here is this little disc.
Oh man, I think I
stuck,
remember that
it's been
thing.
in there for so many years. Do you remember that?
Was it a pre-order thing, or
stuck in there,
they just gave it away for free, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
it was a.
They
They gave it away for free. It's actually a DVD. You can put it in any DVD player. It has a bunch of trailers on it.
Okay.
So I like that thing. I don't know why I like that so
It
much.
looks cool. It looks like an
but I
actual
do.
GameCube.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I still have, or I remember seeing that. Well, I mean, I think I still have the disc, not what you have, but it's totally rad.
What's that?
Another
that
cool thing I have along
Mario
the same
sticker
lines.
behind you.
Is that
Is that a sticker behind you? The
the
rainbow
Bowser?
one? With the one with
This thing.
Mario. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
right there? Yeah, yeah. I found that at a place in Chicago called Uncle Fun.
Uncle
Which is this guy.
Cool.
You know Uncle Fun.
Uncle Fun's gone now. Did I
Is
tell
it
you?
gone now? Oh no, I love that
No.
store. I used to go to that store.
Uncle
That store
Fun's
was out of my way, and I would just be like, it's Saturday, I have nothing to do. I want to go to Uncle Fun and see what's there. That was the best store. There was this novelty store. They had all kinds of random stuff, a lot of like old Happy Meal toys and vintage stuff. And this was one of the things that I found there.
You
So
get,
I
like,
bought a bunch of those.
and toys, and yeah, it was great, but it's not there anymore. And it was a Chicago
It's
land.
sad.
It was unfortunate.
And like
Sad.
the joke things and stuff, like the hand buzzers and the fake teeth and eyeballs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome store. I loved it.
You could probably find the the peepers, whatever that's whatever Fred's talking about.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Which we'll talk about. I was gonna say if you remember Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he goes to that like magic store and buys like the gum and like all that shit. That's basically what Uncle Fun was. You know, that's basically the actual store of like where Pee-wee went to in that movie. So it was a wonderful place to go to, and it's
I love that place. Speaking of peepers, I have these.
Nice peeps.
These are
oh wow.
These are Nintendo 64 3D glasses that I got when I reserved my Nintendo 64 way back in 1996.
Oh wow,
Toys R Us. They have a Toys R Us branding on there.
that's awesome. Those are
That
cool.
is
to-
awesome,
or
man.
something. I mean, I'm sure all that's
They could be, yeah. Right now, I'm actually seeing a 3D effect on Jeremy's collar. It's kind of popping out.
I always pop my collars.
Yeah. So, so yeah, this is pretty cool. I've had this. I don't know how I managed to keep this intact for 20-something years, but yeah, it's just a piece of cardboard. I got a couple more things. This is a 3D printed portal cube that my friend made me.
Oh, hey, look at it. It's the
I just like that
companion
because
cube.
it's portal. And
so somebody made that. Like it's not you didn't actually buy it.
yeah, my
Sculpted
friend.
or 3D
My friend,
print.
yeah, 3D printed. My friend has a 3D printing company.
Oh, nice.
And he didn't make it for me, but he had a couple of these, and he said I could have this one. So I like it. It's cool. This is vintage Mario wallpaper.
Oh, it's the trim.
I got that, but I never put. Yeah, this is like a trim that you put around your, like by the ceiling.
Oh wow.
That's
$2.99.
way
It's
vintage.
worth more.
$2.99.
I'd venture that's
I
worth
meant to
over
put it up
$4.
at some point. Probably so. But I think I'm just going to keep it like that. And then a couple more things.
Yeah, you don't want to put it on the wall because then it pretty much devalues whatever it's worth.
The
you
wall's
know.
worth more.
And it's much better. I mean, for some, keep it. Yeah. Well, then you'll never get to use it again. You know, it'll have to be a place that you like own or that you'll never move out of or whatever.
Right. This is my E3 pass from when I got into E3.
Oh, cool.
And
On Live.
Yeah,
I remember On Live.
From On Live, yeah. You remember them?
Yeah.
So I represented them for a day. I responded to an ad online and said, "Hey, do you want to work at E3 and make $300?" Hell yeah! So thanks to OnLive, the company that went out of business.
Yeah,
they were the first company basically to do cloud gaming. I got into E3, and I got not only a regular pass, I got an exhibitor pass. So I got to get in there like when they were setting up the booths and everything.
That's cool.
It's like a VIP.
Yeah. So I got to see how the sausage was made. All I had to do was like wear their T-shirt and then hand out some cards about OnLive, and they said I could go like play the games and all that stuff. And so I got to see some Nintendo people. I saw Reggie Fils-Aimé. He was walking down the hall. I came around the corner. He had like a whole posse of people, and for whatever reason, he was like going to do something. He was like on a mission. He was walking, just looking like a very important man. I thought, oh, that's Reggie Fils-Aimé. And he gave me the Luigi death stare.
Oh, yeah.
No joke.
Who the fuck's
no
that?
Joke. Yeah, because I was wearing my OnLive shirt, and I saw he turned and looked at my shirt like, oh, those guys. Yeah, like I thought they were dead. But
he's like, oh yeah, they let.
I just saw a zombie
for free.
Yeah.
Nice.
But, and then the other person that I met, I got to meet AJ Enuma, which was just on the show floor.
That's freaking cool. Man.
He was standing up. It looked, I think like he got out of the IGN interview. He was at the IGN booth, and he had a couple of people around him. And I saw him. I was gonna like just kind of walk on by. I didn't want to interrupt, but I thought, nah, if I walk by, I'm gonna regret that. So I just walked up to him and used what little Japanese I knew. I said, "Sumimasen, Enuma-san."
Yeah.
Domo arigato. I shook his hand, and I went on my way. But that was that.
Nice.
So you said thank you, Neil. I got that part.
I did. I got two more things. That's my autographed Charles Martinet photo.
Oh, you have one.
Says,
oh, okay. I see. You have two. That one, because that was
two.
I was gonna say like, because there's another one.
There's another one.
Yeah, this one's from me.
The
other one was addressed to somebody else, and I'm actually going to send that one to Jeremy because I don't want that one anymore.
I was afraid that you got one that was to her, and I was like, don't get one to her, get one for you. But I'm glad you have.
I got one for you too. Yeah,
framed and everything.
So,
nice.
It says, "John, you number one, your pal Mario, Charles," and then he drew a little smiley face with a mustache.
Yeah. Was he as like crazy as he is? I've watched like YouTube videos of him where he's all like jumping around, being like,
he
seems very genuine to me. Like, I was one of the last ones in line to meet him, and he was still just as enthusiastic. And like, he seems to me like he knows how lucky he is, and he really appreciates his position. So I got one more thing here. There's the photo of me with Charles. I had longer hair back in the day.
With Mr.
Oh, wow,
Martinet.
you look like such a rocker.
You do.
I know. There he is.
That's
and
awesome,
then there's this Power Glove. This is the Power Glove that he signed.
Oh,
nice.
It's signed.
Yeah, and that has to do. Yeah, all you guys
that's
have.
Awesome.
I don't have a.
I got it signed. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my favorite item that I own, like of anything, ever. So my Nintendo Power Glove signed by him. It says, "John, here we go, Mario," and then he signed it again with a little smiley face.
Nice.
And my last thing to lead into our topic of the day.
The
This
Wizard.
is my original VHS copy of The Wizard.
Was that a rental
Well,
copy?
I have something to show you that has to do with that. All.
This is a rental copy. This is from the store. This is actually the first copy that I rented. The store went out of business. I used to rent this, every couple of weekends because I loved the movie. The store went out of business, and I bought the copy that I first rented. So there it is. That's all my stuff. Thank you for letting me share.
You got some cool shit, man. Is that Laserdisc?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, just because you showed. Yeah, no, your stuff is totally awesome. I just just because you brought out the Wizard one, I have to show this one. I have the Wizard on Laserdisc.
Nice.
My roommate Conan bought it for me from somewhere. I don't know, some used place, but it's a silver record. I've never actually
super cool.
Actually played it before, but because I don't have a Laserdisc player, but here it is.
It has a Mario 3 ROM on it. It's a data file.
Amazing. But look at all
these. You need to buy a Laserdisc player, my friend.
Look at all these beautiful people. This is the only Laserdisc that I have, but this is really all you need.
That's all you need
in the world of Laserdiscs.
How much is a Laserdisc player? Like, it can't be more than $100.
I've honestly never really looked into it, but I do have a Laserdisc, so yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's not the Wizard soundtrack on vinyl. It's the Laserdisc. It says, I mean,
that's awesome. It
says right here, $10.99. Right, it's probably worth much more than that, but actually, it's probably worth less than that. But hopefully, that wasn't how much it cost. But yeah, it's pretty rad. It's my favorite Wizard thing. I have the Wizard on DVD too, but that's not as cool as like the VHS copy that
not as cool,
or that Laserdisc.
Way not as cool as the Laserdisc.
No, or
you show off your shirt too while we're on it. Let's see your shirt.
Oh yeah, I had this shirt custom made for our live episode. This was inspired by John because I remember John told me that in Germany the Wizard was called Joystick Heroes. So I found the German poster for the Wizard and I made it into a T-shirt. That's basically what I did. From a friend of the show, 1 Hour Tees in Chicago. It's my favorite place to go to and have shirts made. This is my third shirt that I've had made. There's probably like 30 other ones that I'm planning on getting made. Maybe not 30, but I have a shitload of designs that I will hopefully get to eventually. But yeah, it's a cool place. I actually wanted to get it in black, but they said they were super, super busy for the holidays because a lot of people are buying shirts for the family or whatever. So I had to get this in white, but it's fine. You know, it still works. Because I basically had them like do it. I was like, I need you to do it before the live
shirts.
I got it on Wednesday. And also, speaking of cool stuff that I didn't have for our 50th, this is my Cappy hat that Jess made for me for Halloween. It's
nice.
It's normally in the back over here, but I figured I'd wear it for this episode. It's just basically it's the Mario hat that you got from the Platinum Nintendo, but just sewed some foam core eyes onto it. I think it's super rad. It was part of my Halloween costume, but I like it so much that I'm going to leave the eyes on there for, until they fall off or I die or whatever. Or they could bury me with it or something. It's one of my favorite hats.
This is my work.
There's
my
your
work I made. Yeah, I made it for this episode. It's a little. If you look at it closely, it's definitely very DIY. But I originally wanted to make
this
a
little warped.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't know if we're synced up, but yeah,
a little late on the.
I didn't do it again. Do it again one more time.
It works. All right, I guess I'll see you guys at World 6.
Yeah, listen to Haley. Listen to Haley Brooks. She knows everything about dice rolls and all that. And on that note, do you guys want to jump to our topic?
Yeah.
To the Wizard.
Jump.
Woohoo.
All right. I need to do a quick break, so we'll be right back.
All right.
Seconds. I'm just gonna put this on while we're waiting.
I'm just gonna sit here and dance.
I don't know. But sometimes I feel we've been missing.
if any of you didn't recognize that, that is the first song that you hear from the Wizard when
Is that you too?
when Jimmy Woods is walking down the street. No, it's it's like it's the Bodines is who it is, which I had never heard of until
Jethro
I
Bodine.
looked up that song from the beginning of the Wizard. So yeah, that's the song, the very first song that you hear in the movie when Jimmy Woods is walking around. You know, when he says this
California.
for the first time.
California.
Is that song? That was yeah, it's a good one. Totally sets the mood of one of the best movies of all time.
I actually kind of like that song.
Yeah, the Bodine song. It's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
So did you guys
I'm gonna
rewatch
take
the
those
movie
off
for the
because I'm starting
episode?
to go blind.
I did. I watched it last night with Jess.
So,
like after I got.
Well,
off.
not with Jess.
It's it's only an 80-minute movie, so it's pretty easy to watch. Like it's not very long. So I did gave it a refresher. There was a line in there that she noticed that I had never noticed before. The peekaboo peepers. It's like a total like throwaway line, but I just want to play it real quick for you guys. I think it's pretty funny.
We need toys, entertainment. Like, look, these are perfect entertainment. Look what I got for peekaboo peepers. Look, they're weighted. So you can put them in your soup or, you know, like your friend's soup. You can do everything.
It's great. Like it's such a dumb, but it's like later when they like, you know, when they're making money off of the games and all that. And it's when he has the Groucho Marx eyes, or the Groucho Marx, like the, you know, the glasses in the nose, whatever. And he's
You
talking,
can put them in soup.
he's talking about peekaboo peepers.
They're just like
you
prioritizing
can put it in your
how they
soup. You
spell
can put
their
it.
money or spend their money. No,
But
we need to
that's
be
his, like, thing is,
responsible.
like, yeah, you
Peekaboo
can put it-
peepers.
Put it in your friend's soup or your soup. That's like basically what you can do with it. But that's an amazing line that I'd never noticed before, and it's a good one. There's so many great lines, but that's one that I'd never thought of. I kind of I stayed up last night making a soundboard of sorts for this episode, so you know I didn't get every line, but I got ones that I wanted to have at some point. So I'm sure we'll hear that in one way or another. But yeah, let's talk about the fucking Wizard.
The
Which is
Wizard.
probably the best video game movie of all time.
I think
right?
so. 28th
I think
anniversary.
it's not
Put it up there.
I mean, it was released December 15th of 1989. That's today's day. So
Which, if
it's
you look,
28
there's a
years,
point-
not quite 30, but hey.
When you first see Haley's character, she's got a Cosmo, and when he gets close to her, it says June of 1989, I think.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
a
well, also
Easter
when
egg I noticed.
I noticed when they go to the dinosaur at the end, somebody wrote 85 on the wall. So,
Okay.
I mean, well, 4 years, but you know when he's sitting in there, which that was always such a weird.
Maybe that was
the
a
whole like
Nintendo
plot was always
shout out.
yeah. What 85? I don't
When
know.
it came out in the U.S.
So yeah,
First thing I remember of the Wizard is seeing the poster at the mall. I have a very clear memory. You know, like when important things happen in your life, it's just like there in your mind. You're just present in the moment when you remember it. That's the way I feel about when I saw the Wizard poster. I can still feel like I'm 4 feet tall, looking up, and there was Mario on a movie poster. And I didn't know what this was. I didn't see any commercial advertisements, anything. But there was this poster in front of me with Mario on the movie poster. I knew I had to see it. But I could not convince my parents to go and see the movie. So
No. They weren't into it.
they weren't into it. No.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
We were shopping at the time. And
You're like fuck shopping.
Yeah.
Let's see the Wizard.
yeah,
right?
look, there's a Mario movie. He's in the movie. Like, come on. No. They didn't understand.
Yeah. No,
So I'd wait till it was on video.
I did see it in the theater. I don't.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I don't have as vivid memory of it as you do, of like seeing the giant poster with Mario on it and all that. But I remember seeing the movie, and I remember being like, "Oh yeah, cool, Mario 3." You know, so I remember that. But I didn't really get into the movie until like later, in college when I found it at when I was able to find it at like Family Video or wherever. There was only a couple places that could rent it, and I would rent it because you couldn't really buy it anywhere. I remember it took forever to get on DVD and all that stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, my copy of it I bought. I like I said, I rented it from the store, and then I think the store closed when I was maybe 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing that I went in there and I bought. So I was into that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah. Dope. Well, what is there to say about the Wizard? There's a lot of stuff to say about the Wizard. That's what there is. But
maybe we should start with the summary for anybody who's not seen the movie.
Spoilers.
I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, listen to the rest of our show, or watch the rest of our show. But definitely,
you can get it. I watched it on YouTube. I had to pay $2.99 for it, but I just paid $2.99 through PayPal on YouTube, and I was able to rent it. I don't get to keep it, but so if you want to watch it, drop $3. You can see it right now on this website.
You can probably buy the DVD for about that.
Yeah, if you're patient.
But I got it for.
Well, basically, it's about a kid
who's
played by Fred Savage, whose little brother has mental issues of some unspoken kind. They never really say like what's wrong with the kid, but he's in a home for some reason. He's just kind of quiet. And Corey, the kid played by Fred Savage, goes and breaks him out of the mental home. Yeah. And they go on a road trip. And on the road trip, they meet up with this girl played by Jenny Lewis.
Haley Brooks.
Yep.
Haley Brooks.
Yeah, Jenny Lewis is awesome. We'll talk about her in more detail in a minute.
And then they decide that Jimmy is really good at. They discover that Jimmy's really good at video games, and they decide to go to this video game competition in California.
California.
Right. So at Universal Studios, conveniently. So that's the whole movie. It's a road trip to California to go to a video game competition.
Yep, Video Armageddon.
And along the way, like all the adults are just like, it's cool. All these kids are traveling alone. They can we'll sell them bus tickets. And
whatever.
Help them hitchhike and all that stuff. Protect them from an adult that seems to want to take them home safely.
Putnam.
Yeah, I guess he was kind of aggressive.
I just figured out what his name was. Like I remember John made memes of the whole cast of The Wizard back in the week.
Yep.
And you had Putnam in there as breast toucher, but his name is Putnam, and he has the worst ties of all time. But yeah,
he's just a sleazeball character. Like they just lay it on thick.
He touched my breast.
That guy. So
I remember hearing that line in that movie. I was like, "Oh, she said breast in a movie about Nintendo."
Yeah,
this is like
there's some
kind of weird, but
oh yeah, for sure. So do you want to read like the review of this? The
sure
Siskel and Ebert review. We were talking about this earlier before we were live.
Sure. So this is Roger Ebert's review from December 15th, 1989. It's not too long, so I'll read the whole thing. The Wizard is one of those movies that provokes the "hey, wait a minute" syndrome. You know, the kind where you keep saying things like, "Hey, wait a minute. How could a 9-year-old boy walk miles along a desert highway without being noticed?" Or, "Wait a minute. You mean to say a trucker wouldn't even stop if he saw 2 little kids coasting down an interstate highway on a skateboard?" Or, "Wait a minute. Do businessmen in their lunch hours really gamble on video games with little kids?" Or, "Wait a minute. Could 3 little kids, for their ranks have swelled now, really make it from Utah to Los Angeles without anything terrible happening to them? But wait a minute. I know. The Wizard is only a silly little Christmas kiddie movie, and we aren't supposed to ask questions like that, but we must. In an age when child abduction is the subject of half the TV docudramas and on all the milk cartons, how are we supposed to blind ourselves to the central fact of this movie, which is that a 13-year-old boy and his 9-year-old brother, accompanied part of the way by a 13-year-old girl manage to walk, hitchhike, and con themselves all the way from Utah to the National Video Game Championships in LA. This movie is filled with shots of these little kids walking down highways, hitching rides, walking into bars, video parlors, and Reno gambling casinos. And there wasn't a moment when I didn't question the sanity of the film and fear for their safety. It was only after the three little kids arrived safely at the championships that I began to question the ethics of the film, which is, among other things, a thinly disguised commercial for Nintendo video games and the Universal Studio Tour.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah, it does go on for a little bit longer. It's longer than that, but read the article at RogerEbert.com. Read the whole review.
Well, Haley Brooks is a woman of the road, man. Like she could help. She could help you find stuff. I always thought her character was super interesting. Well, for one thing, if you don't know, Jenny Lewis is like a fucking rock star now.
Yeah,
she's incredibly awesome. Both Jeremy and I have met her before. We used to go see Rilo Kiley shows and all that. Rilo Kiley is an awesome band. If you haven't heard, you should totally listen to them. They're fucking great. She actually has her own like side projects and solo projects, and basically everything I've ever seen her do, I think, is amazing. So,
yeah, she's great.
Jenny Lewis is an awesome person. And I remember one time we went to go see her at Shuba's, which is across the street from Uncle Fun, and she mistook me for one of her band members.
Oh, wow.
And that was pretty cool. Like she came.
You should have went with it. You could have gone on tour.
I would have. Well, she came up to me and she was like, "Hey,
until you make it."
She's like, "Hey, can you grab?" And then she like turned around and she's like, "Oh, you're not that one guy." And then she walked away, and I was thinking like, "But I can be, you know. I can pretend. You can pretend. Come on, let's. I'll pretend to play guitar. I'm not musically inclined in any way, but you know, I can stand and look pretty on the stage. Like,
do
go for it.
BGVs.
Yeah, she was trying to. It was. I didn't really get to fully talk to her, but she did think I was a different person and was like, "Hey." I wasn't like, and then as she was running away, I was like,
"You should have just been like, you don't know
you
me."
Touched my breath. And I was like, "Hey, Jenny Lewis, come back here." And she told me this.
For your information, butthead, he's headed for the video championships in Los Angeles.
That's what she told me. No, not really, but yeah, no, her character's great, and I always felt sad for her in the movie because, like, you know, she talks about her parents. You never see her parents, and then you see her house, and it's like an abandoned trailer, and her parents aren't there. So I always thought that maybe they don't exist. Like maybe she just kind of tells people that her dad is whatever. And then maybe her dad is like all those truckers that she knows around the way, and I don't know. And yeah, like you meet her at a bus stop. Like she says she got sent home by her parents, and they sent her out like unsupervised. Like that's when they meet her. And yeah, I always just thought she was like homeless or something. Like I don't know. And she also has predictive powers. You know, she's able to tell when dice land and all that stuff. So she got the one big black dude all the money, and then she took it back from him.
Spanky.
I remember that. She's like. Because he wins like $500 or $400, and she's like, "Here's your $10 back," and then she takes the rest. But
he's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Yeah, but then he comes back, and you know, and they like corner Putnam and all that later in the movie. But
and then even after the guy thinks that this other dude is like molesting his little friend, he still like lets them go out on the road to continue on their adventure. Like. Yeah.
Well, they got to get to.
At no point does anybody stop and say, "This is nuts."
Yeah. Or at least like just drive them to California. I mean, well, get rid of most of
not to mention the
most of the movie
when they destroy each other's vehicles pretty much completely. Like no one ever everyone's just kind of cool with that. Putnam and Jimmy's dad, like they basically just completely decimate each other's cars. Yeah,
Bo Bridges and Christian Slater. Yeah. I don't remember their names, but I know the name. I'm sure you do, right, John? Like, do you know the names of?
I don't remember.
Like what his character name is and Christian Slater.
I don't remember.
Well, because I know, like, you know, I know Haley and Corey and Jimmy and Putnam and Lucas and Tobey Maguire, who's in it for 1 second at the end of the movie. And,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's
Slater
part
is
of Lucas's posse, but only. Yeah, he's only part of his posse for that 1 second. So Christian Slater's Nick, Bo Bridges' dad, but what is his name? Like in the... Does it say? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't say
Sam
dad.
Woods.
Oh, okay, Sam. Yeah. And they own the Woods landscaping business that they have 2 hats of that become a major part of the movie. I guess that's what helps.
I can
them.
tell you the creative process that went into writing that. They first thought of the last name Wood, and then they thought, what do they do for a living? Oh, of course, landscaping. That was it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was funny that, like Woods and Brooks are like kind of like the same name. It's like let's have a bunch of last names with 2 O's in them. I mean, I'm sure like Lucas's last name is like Toots too, or something like that.
Lucas Tukas.
His name's like Dow. All right. Yeah.
Lucas Tukas.
But yeah, yeah, but it's like Haley Brooks and Jimmy Woods, whatever, Woods and Brooks. But I mean, I when I watched it this last time, I made sure and made note of all of the NES games that are shown in it. So,
let's hear it.
Want to go through them real quick?
Yep.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, of course. There's a lot of that in there.
Mm-hmm. Mega Turtle. Yep.
I don't know which Mega Man it is, but there's a Mega Man in there. I want to say 2, but I'm not sure. Zelda 2 is in there. Super Mario Brothers 3, of course. Super Mario Brothers 2 is in there. Rad Racer, Ninja Gaiden, Double Dragon, Contra, RC Pro-Am, and Metroid is what I got from what I saw of them playing. And it's funny that, you do see a lot of Play Choice 10 machines, like when they're in the arcade. But a lot of those arcades they're playing are not actually the arcade versions, which, of course,
it's the NES version.
The Double Dragon that they play is not the arcade Double Dragon. The arcade Double Dragon was 2-player, and you could play at the same time.
Oh my gosh!
And also Ninja Gaiden. The arcade is different. Ninja Gaiden arcade is different. So
the guy who plays Lucas
I remember
is like got into some trouble. I just went down a rabbit hole.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no!
He's so bad.
What
He's so bad.
It's really bad.
He's actually really bad now.
It's really bad. Looks like he had. He's a registered sex offender for acts with children.
Oh no!
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, just close that for now, huh?
He couldn't keep his power gloves on. Oh, damn, Lucas.
No, I don't want to wear the power glove anymore.
Yeah,
Wow.
Where's this glove, man?
I guess.
That's kind of crappy. The way I figured that out is I was looking at the cast list, and everybody's picture was like a professional picture, but his was a mugshot.
Oh no! Oh no!
Otherwise, I never would have even gone.
What
down
happened,
that rabbit
man?
hole. So anyway, he's a villain in real life. Jesus.
Can never come back from video arm. It's the end. The end of him. Jeez. Yeah. What a downer.
It looks like everybody else is doing okay.
Well, I know that the guy who plays Jimmy Woods, like he actually goes to conventions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because
he's in like indie films and stuff.
Well, I saw that. I listened to it. Like one of the Retronauts, like their last like live show or live meeting that they did was at a video convention somewhere where he was at. So where the actor was at. So he goes out and still talks to people and all that. He's like, yeah, I'm not that great at Mario 3, but have him say some shit. So have you
still working, huh?
Yeah, I guess. I always thought that their family relationship was a little confusing on this. So what I get is so like Christian Slater, Nick, him and Corey are brothers, right? Full brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That what's up, or are they half brothers too? Because I know that Corey are half brothers. Because their mom, the mom that's in it, she's the second marriage of Beau Bridges.
Yeah.
So he could have had Christian Slater from his previous wife, I guess. They don't really get into that, but they do say that Jimmy Woods is a half brother to Fred Savage, and Jimmy Woods also had a twin sister that died in the river. She like drowned in the river or something like that. This is a kind of like this emotional thing that they sort of shoehorn in, like in the end.
Well, I think that's supposed to say it reveals
Yeah.
that he's emotionally traumatized. Like that's why he acts the way he does. is that he's experienced like some severe trauma.
Yeah, he carries around that lunchbox that has like her shoes in there and like a picture of the whole family together by the dinosaur statue world that they go to later, which is like basically like, how can we end this? Like, now that he's won the video game thing, oh yeah, take him to the fucking dinosaur thing. You know, where he yells really loudly in the car.
California!
You know, which is if you ever want to have a fun drinking game, watch The Wizard and drink every time you hear California. You will hear it all over the place. I mean, everybody says it. Haley says it.
California.
Where's Fritz says it?
California, please.
Everybody says California. I made a soundboard for this live show, and I have like 6 different Californias on here. 3 from Lucas, and well, I guess 5. 3 from Lucas, or not Lucas. Not that fucker. 3 from Jimmy, and 1 each from Corey and Haley. But
that's like half of Jimmy's lines, or more than half, probably.
That's pretty much all he says. He's like a Pokemon for most of the movie. He's like the California Pokemon. It's just like California. I think there's only a couple other things that he says.
He says, "I don't want to give up."
It's
Jennifer. The longest thing he says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he says, "I don't want to give up" when they're like about
Corey, I don't want to give up. Yeah.
And there's another line that he says too that I don't know what it is, but he
says "Bye Super Mario Brothers 3" at one point. He just turns to the camera and says that. It was really weird.
See you in 2 years.
Maybe you just. No, I thought he does like the Twin Peaks thing. He's like, "See you in 25 years." the weird, like the weird voice. But yeah. 97 games. Like, that's one of my. I said that at the top of the show, of that being my thing. But that's. Do you think that was how many? Because how many NES games?
No, wait, there were way more.
It's got to be like 500, right? I thought.
There's something like 700 in total, including all the random ones. Yeah.
By 89, there had to have been more than 90 something.
And that movie came out in 1989.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely more than 97 games at that point.
Because that would have been like the peak of
there had to be like
NES.
250 or 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how long had the NES been out by 89?
4
years.
Yeah. And everybody was putting games on that. Like, that was the big.
Right.
That was the switch of its day, you know, where it's like,
it was.
Put a crappy game on here. People will buy it.
It's like
there's no internet. Like, we have no idea.
It's like the Switch in the movie too, because anywhere they go, they just hook it up to a random TV that just happens to be like ready to play it. The dad and a.
Oh yeah.
It was big enough. So it was big enough at that point that they made a movie about it, and they're trying to say that there's only 97 games for this thing at this point. No.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it was first party Nintendo
There are
games.
a couple things. Yeah. Well, I don't know. the ones that they showed. Well, they showed less than 97. But there are a couple things that I noticed in the movie that I had remembered differently, like from whatever happens. Number one, when they their tires get slashed by Putnam. Putnam puts his knife in the tires, and when they go to get the car fixed, and Christian Slater, Nick, is playing the NES in the mechanic place on the TV. I always thought that was their NES, like the mechanic had an NES there that they could play. Mm-hmm. But apparently he found the NES in the back of the truck with the tree that's back there. You know, there's this tree that stays in the back of the truck through the whole movie.
Right.
This is his leaves at the end, and then the very end of the movie, the tree is gone, because Haley and Jimmy and Corey are all sitting in the back of the truck, and there's no tree there. They never really resolved what
that tree will be back in 25 years too.
Yeah, they might.
They planted it somewhere along the way in honor of Jennifer.
Well, no, that's what I was thinking. Maybe they planted it at the fucking dinosaur place that they go to, right? After they leave the lunchbox there, they plant the tree in the ground, and that's why it disappears.
The tree represents Jennifer.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally.
It'll grow into a giant, mighty oak later and tell Link where to go to save the Hyrule and all that stuff. But yeah, the Christian Slater says that he found the NES in the back of the truck, and that he fixed it, and that it didn't work, and he fixed it, which means he probably just like did the slow blow right on the cartridge to get it.
Oh yeah, I also wanted to say
he fixed it with all the rest of the landscaping materials. You know,
yeah,
he got out the tweezers and whatever, the shears, and fixed his NES.
When they leave,
probably did where he put.
When they leave the mechanics, I wanted to say when they leave the mechanic, Nick grabs the NES because they're leaving, and he like unhooks it from the TV really fast. Or no, it was his dad. It was Bo Bridges, and they leave the RF switch. They totally left the RF switch attached to the back of it, which bothered me because I just watched this.
It's hard to take it off.
It had the prongs
because you have
and everything.
Yeah, but it does show up in the hotel later, where they're sleeping in the bed together, which just made up a funny song about sleeping with your dad, and how Bridges was probably farting on him and all that stuff. But yeah, they're like trying to sleep, and then Christian Slater like plays the game, and then Bo Bridges stays up playing the game. But I always thought it was funny, like when he starts talking about, and I wish I had the line, I didn't get it from my soundboard, but where he talks about the Mecha Turtle and like the scroll weapon and all that shit's real. Like my roommate Conan, like I mentioned before, like that was one of the only games that he had growing up was Turtles 1. So he played the crap out of it, and he's actually beat it like a couple times. But yeah, that Mecha Turtle is really fucking hard. Saying like that's all real shit. Like same thing when he starts talking about the Zelda 2 and all the extra stuff too. Like where Bo Bridges is playing it and Nick like turns the game off. But he's talking about the river or something or other. I don't know Zelda 2 that well, but I know that's how we figured out that it was Zelda 2 was just like what he was saying about it. Because you only see it, you don't see it for very long, and you hear the song, you hear the music from it. But
I think he said something about Palace.
Yeah,
6.
that's I would have got. Yeah. Well, I would have got pretty pissed off if somebody just like turned it off though, because that game's hard as balls. Like, if you
why was the kid doing that to his dad? That always was the opposite way, growing up.
He should have been, dude. Well, I mean, back in the day, they didn't realize how difficult Zelda 2 was, and how it's just going to be one of those things that transcends time. That it'll always be difficult, But
I just thought it was weird how like Bo Bridges, he gets so into playing Ninja Turtles, he doesn't want to leave, and he completely forgets that his son is missing. Like, never mind my son who's missing. I want to finish. I got to beat the Mecha Turtle.
Yeah. Well, it's just
two sons.
It's just like
2 sons. Yeah.
It's just showing how great the NES is. It makes you forget about your loved ones, and they're missing. Another funny line. I wish I didn't get it. I didn't get it from my soundboard. But at the very end, when like Bo Bridges shows up at the competition, and they're all watching Jimmy Woods play, it's funny. Like he's talking to Fred, and to Corey, Fred Savage's character, and he's basically like, he's a great video game player. Like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, dude, you guys haven't seen each other like for the whole like. He was not able to talk to you like when he found out that Jimmy Woods was great at games. Like he hasn't talked to anybody. Like nobody's talked to anybody since then.
Right. They didn't have cell phones back then even. Not like he could get on the cell phone and call his dad as he's on the road. Hey, Dad, Jimmy's really good at video games. Bye.
I guess maybe he thought that he was good at games before, and that's what that line is, but I don't know. I think the one line that I have from Bo Bridges for Jimmy on here is this this doesn't even make any sense, but this is what he tells him.
Jimmy! Watch the mushrooms!
Watch the mushrooms. Think they're gonna get you?
Watch the mushrooms.
I think you meant Goombas.
Watch the mushrooms. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, some of the stuff that they yell at him is pretty amazing.
Another thing I noticed
in Jimmy,
in that scene when they're playing Mario 3, they keep calling it World 2, but it's 1-3. That kind of bothered me too.
Oh, yeah. You mean
Super Mario Brothers 3?
That game?
That game. This game.
Oh yeah, there it is.
But my
favorite one is
Ninja. Hi.
The another thing that I remember differently, like speaking of Video Armageddon, I always thought that Jenny Lewis knew where the warp whistle was and she told him where to get it, but he finds it on his own. And it is kind of believable the way that he finds it, because he just does the part in that first ghost house, or the first castle, I guess, where you just run back and forth, fly up to the top, and he finds the whistle, you know, before she says her great line.
That's the magic flute! Use it, opens the warp!
I mean, all she knows is the flute opens the warp, but she doesn't know where it is. I always thought that she knew where it was and told him, but no, he finds it on his own. He pretty much does everything on his own, but people are still like saying like, yeah, do that, like do what you just did, Lucas, or not Lucas, Jimmy, Lucas on the brain. Now that he's all crazy sex offender and all that stuff, but yeah, they're like, go Jimmy, go do that. He's already doing it, but another speaking of stuff that doesn't make sense in Video Armageddon. What about like the score system? Like it's like so they're going by like, you know, points, and if anybody's seen like King of Kong, you know, points, you got to stay in the level and like keep doing, you know, getting all the multipliers and all that, instead of like getting a warp and like going to the World 4. Like that's not gonna get you more points. I don't think you get points for warping in Mario 3, do you? I mean, no. Yeah. Like that doesn't make any sense. It's like a mixture of points and how far you can get in the game. I don't know.
Yeah, and you saw like the score would like go down when you died. Like that doesn't happen to Mario. You keep your score.
Yeah, no. This isn't like House of the Dead Overkill or anything, where you lose points when you die.
Maybe it's a special edition cartridge of Mario 3, like the World Championships cartridge.
That's kind of what I was
like
thinking.
like the old like the old Star Fox competitive edition or whatever that's supposedly worth a lot, like Super Nintendo. And there's like a Donkey one. There's a bunch of Super Nintendo ones that are worth a pretty penny, like those championship edition versions. So yeah, you're right. It could be like that. I hope that it has that crazy what is it? Those like knights running that it shows like the points. Do you remember that with the stream of behind him and he's running and it says like zone and all that stuff in there. It's like I was always like I don't, you know. It's always funny.
Not how it happens.
Yeah, it's funny to see like made up video game graphics like in movies, and they're like kind of, I know what that is. Also, that dude.
I was gonna say, at least they got the sounds right. Like normally in TV shows back in the day, they would have some kid just like fill in with the controller some random sound that wasn't even from that game. It would be like he's playing Street Fighter, and then there was Space Invader noises.
Yeah.
At least they got the sounds right.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, and they definitely like it's edited to be like super loud. Like you'll hear like the bloom bloom and like the destroying bricks and all that, you know. It's definitely in there. Like the sound design definitely made it louder than everything else, I think. So, you know, it's good that they got that right. Aside from like the you know, like the arcades not being the right arcades and all that, and yeah. I was trying to think of there's a couple things that like don't make sense, but most of it's like in that Mario 3 part at the end. Yeah. Where it's like I don't understand how they're judging this competition here. Like if it's how far you get or your points or whatever. And I'd completely forgotten that they're in Universal Studios and they just totally like walk through that King Kong ride, like like in the middle of the movie. Forget about that.
They're all so terrified.
And then lower down behind the stage in a metal cage.
Yeah, and he like shows up back there, you know. That's kind of, and Putnam's like, he's like, wait, what is this thing that you have? Like I don't understand it. Like he has like this really bad line about like when they use the elevator. He's like, what is this? It's like, dude, it's a fucking elevator. You can see the pulley system and all that. You know?
He's never seen one before.
Don't they threaten him with karate or something at that point? I feel like, I feel like that happens before he's like kind of does one of these.
Putnam?
No, the kid. God, I just forgot his name. I just blanked on his name. Not Jimmy, the other one.
Jimmy?
Not Jimmy, the other one. Corey, yeah.
Corey, yeah. I don't remember the karate part, but he does. He does say something to him to distract him before they do the elevator thing. But then he seems so confused by it. Putnam does.
He's like, curses!
Yeah. And then later, like one of my favorite things is he totally comes around on Jimmy too. In the very end of the movie, this is what he has to say about him. He yells for him and says, "I know that kid."
Hey, I know that kid.
When they're all
super excited when he wins.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, I know him. I chased him for the past like week, and I grabbed him and carried him around really weirdly, you know." I mean, he totally looks like the child molester type. I figured that Putnam would get into that before Lucas.
Not Lucas.
Yeah, it's the saying. His defeat just took him down. Like he couldn't come back. It's a hard thing to recover from.
Yeah, and when Lucas was playing, like he had like people like screaming his name out in the crowd. I love you, Lucas.
Yeah. And
So
there was
something.
A female gamer there too. You know, like.
Yeah, that was
Moira Grisham.
Moira Grisham. Yeah. There was one point where they were at.
Did anybody ever really think? What?
When they were on the lot and they were like going around on the tour buses, and someone says something about a movie with Pee Wee Herman and Zsa Zsa Gabor and the romantic leads. I can't remember what it was, but that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called like Hotel something or other, or like something Fiasco or some Vacation. But yeah, there's like a starring Pee Wee Herman and Zsa Zsa Gabor. So there's a Pee Wee Herman name drop also in that in '89. Was this had to have been post Big Adventure, right? When was Big Adventure?
Yeah, it was post Big Adventure.
That was 80. Oh yeah. Big Adventure was like 86 or 85.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if like I
think Big
was
Top
it like kind of
too.
like overused. I thought Big Top was like early '90s, but I may be wrong on that. I haven't looked.
It was 88.
Was it? Oh shit!
Yeah.
I always felt like it was so much later. Well, I did see Big Top in the theater, but I don't think I saw a Big Adventure in the theater. But I'm wondering if like that trope of like, you know, kids going through like a studio or whatever was like kind of overused, like with them being at the Universal Studio by then, because they do the same thing in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you know, where he's like at the Hollywood thing and he like walks across the Godzilla set and then he goes through some like crazy beach movie or whatever that they're shooting. Like maybe that had been used a bunch by the time '89 came around, and maybe that's what Ebert was like, oh, it's just an advertisement for Nintendo and Universal Studios. Which, I mean, what it's remembered for is the Nintendo advertisements, not Universal. But yeah, I mean it was, but it's charming in its own way, you know, just because of its ridiculousness and from what I've heard, like Nintendo didn't really have that much of an involvement in it, right? Aside from just like, you know, copyright stuff.
Like it.
It's okay to use.
Like it.
Games,
maybe they made sure all the sound effects were correct,
like,
and that's why they were.
Yeah, no, they were good. Like, which is that's something that actually catered well to the, you know, to the game.
And we should definitely mention at this point, Nintendo's continued relationship with Universal.
Oh right,
Studios.
yeah, I was gonna.
Like maybe it began on that movie. Maybe that's where it all started. They must have been working it out for 30 years.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I'm sure you. Do you remember when we were talking about like the Mario movie and how you like wish that Disney would have done it and all that? And I told you like how I don't want Disney to own Nintendo too and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean they don't own Nintendo, but Disney apparently is very soon to be owning Fox as well.
Most of Fox, not all.
Can you imagine? Yeah, not all of it, but I mean, it's kind of getting sort of scary. Like, if they own everything, then where's, you know, it'll all be from them. Isn't that kind of like some sort of monopoly law or something like that? I don't know. Kind of.
It's very scandalous.
But the X-Men coming to the Avengers, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just excited about there being a good Fantastic Four movie finally. If Marvel has hold of them, you know, we'll finally actually get to see them as they should be seen, as great and not shitty movies. But that's a whole nother thing. I know they're not getting like The Simpsons and some other stuff. Fox, it's like parts of it, but
they're not getting Fox News.
Like
Fox News is still its own thing, separate.
Yeah, but who wants Fox News really? I mean,
I can't remember. There was a political joke made about it that was like, or I guess it wasn't political. It was just like, why wouldn't, you know, the creators of fantasy and fiction want to be owned by Disney?
Yeah, right. I think that Disney probably just doesn't want it. You know, they're probably like,
No,
you can keep that.
Yeah.
It's toxic. Yeah.
Station.
But yeah, Nintendo and Universal.
Yeah.
So
they started it. It all started in the Wizard. I hope
it all started with the Wizard.
I hope that when they open their Nintendo Land or whatever in the Universal,
it all started with Donkey Kong, actually, but that wasn't a good relationship.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Legal battle.
The Wizard is where they made amends.
King Kong, yeah. Which is kind of funny that with King Kong being in the movie and all that. I guess
right.
It's good.
There's all kinds of layers to this. What a complicated relationship they have.
It's a very detailed movie. I mean, that's why. I mean, does this have a Rotten Tomatoes percentage, or like, has anybody looked it up?
I haven't looked.
Just say it should at least have a higher percentage than the new Star Wars movie.
Well, I know who we can't ask about it.
Which,
Roger Ebert.
26% on Rotten Tomatoes for The Wizard. Lies, but the audience is 60%, so it's higher, you know.
Yeah,
it's a cult classic for sure.
I think it's a totally watchable. I mean,
it's a watchable movie.
Yeah, it's only 80 minutes. You know, there's not a whole lot of time wasted or enjoyed in there, however you look at it. And I would. It's a movie that I would play a lot at the bar, like whatever bar I worked at. You know, it was always a crowd pleaser because people remember it, but they haven't seen it in a while. But it has so much Nintendo stuff in it that it's pretty easy to sell. You know, people are normally into it from having it on. Is there anything else you guys want to say about the movie? I mean, there's so much. I feel like we've talked a lot about it, but
yeah, I was going to explain my comment earlier about how everyone was wearing Vision streetwear, which I don't know what that is, but it must have been really popular at the time, or they sponsored the movie because there's a point at the competition where literally every kid is wearing Vision streetwear shirts.
Yeah, I think
including Jimmy, he's wearing one.
Yeah, I think I might have had a Vision shirt at some point. There's all sorts of like weird, 80s fashion and pink and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very 80s movie.
The late
Tobey
80s
Maguire rocked that 90s mullet, by the way.
Yeah, he had the mullet and he had a pink shirt too, I think.
Pink shirt, yeah.
I wonder how did they just like grab him and be like, hey, can you just stand in for this one part? Because he's only in that one part where they're just standing outside of the Video Armageddon competition there, you know.
He's not at the earlier part, isn't he? At the part where we first meet Lucas, or no?
He isn't. He's not there.
He isn't. He's just at the competition. Okay.
Competition, yeah. I was looking for him,
but
no, you don't see him until the very end of the movie.
I just learned something about the Wizard.
I remember the moment that I found him. I was in college and I was watching it with a couple of people, a couple of people that we know, and I had to rewind it. So is that Tobey Maguire? Because at the time Spider-Man had just come out when we were watching it.
Yeah, no, I remember we saw Spider-Man 1 together. But it's like it's him, like it's totally Tobey Maguire, but he looks the same except he has a mullet and he's shorter. You know, it's like 100% him. It's like
he's trying to look like a badass. He's trying to look like Lucas is like little lackey, whatever, badass, folding his arms. It's really funny.
I think it's great on IMDb.
He's like
listed
the shortest one.
He's listed really far down because he had a less of a part than like the guy who sells the bus tickets and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, he doesn't even do anything. He's
even below the
next to
studio tour guides above him. The guy that talks about Pee-wee and Zsa Zsa.
Well, he has a line. I mean, yeah, it's like totally here. I don't know if you can see it, Jeremy, or people at home can see it, but he's.
Oh yeah, you can totally see it. Pink
shirted. Right? I mean, on the left, that's totally him, 100% him.
It's a rad mullet.
Yep.
Yeah, no. They pretty much just walk out and just get into place, and he just stands there and just looks adoringly at Lucas, like he talks about whatever, So since both of you guys have power gloves, like how disappointed were you that they didn't have any sort of gyroscopic control in there, or did it at some point? Like you could drive a rad racer like that. Like
I knew long before because
yeah. Go ahead.
I didn't get this until I was in college. My brother gave it to me, and I already knew the Power Glove was garbage at that point. I just wanted to own one.
Yeah, me too. I got it in college or shortly after college, and I think I've only ever tried to actually play it maybe once. I've tried to play Super Mario Brothers, and not possible.
Doesn't work.
Well, it's basically just like you have a controller, right? And it's just like
Yeah. Well, you have this thing on the TV. It's kind of like a you put it on the corner of the TV. It goes on the top and on the side, and then you hold your hand up like that, and you tilt this way, that way, to control. At least in Mario, to control Mario, and then jump was you flick your finger like that.
oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
Boing, boing,
Oh.
boing, boing.
'Cause I had a-
boing.
I did have a friend who had that thing in high school, and it was basically he's just like, oh, you just played here. It's like, oh, it's like
You can do that too, but it does have stuff in the fingers. Like I think this is A and this is B.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's kind of the precursor to jumping with the Wii mode or whatever, I guess. There's no way that you could like make it be like I don't know. Make it be like driving where it's like 1 and 2 or your fingers to go like left or right. There's probably no way you can do that.
You do that by tilting, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can do that. The red
Yeah,
race.
you can do that. Yep.
Sensors.
Okay.
You can see the sensors on there. Yep.
Oh, I always figured that. So do you probably need to plug in some sort of whatever to it.
Yeah, it's the thing that goes on the TV. You plug this. Well, it's got the traditional plug for the controller, right? But then there's the thing on the TV, and I forget, but I think that plugs into the second player slot. It's like a square thing, hangs on the corner, one on the top, one on the side, and there's little red lights that it reads.
It's like a precursor to the Wii
How,
sensor bar, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. How long is that cord, by the way? Like it looked pretty long.
Let's see. I don't know.
Pretty long in the movie because Lucas walks pretty far away from the TV, like to talk to them about.
It's probably at least 6 feet.
Yeah, it's longer than a regular NES controller, I think. Yeah, it's pretty long.
It's long.
Like 8 or 10 feet.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no, it looks pretty. It's probably way longer than the NES Classic cord, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Is there anything else you want to say about the Wizard?
If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think it's worth it if you like classic video games, or if you like simple kids movies, whatever. It's a simple movie for sure.
It is.
And definitely if you're a child of the 80s, there's some nostalgia in there for you. Not a great movie, but a great movie in its own right.
Not a great movie, but not a bad movie.
And it makes
not bad.
It'll make you feel
I think
really
it's- I think it's
nostalgic
great.
for playing games and arcades and talking to your friends about games and just all the fun that came with that back in the day.
I mean, what about if you're a new gamer that didn't grow up in the 80s?
We'll learn some history.
That's a good reason to watch it, so you can see what it was like.
If your first system was a 64 or like the PlayStation even, or like or PlayStation 2 even. Like people born in 96 can drink now, so it's a whole crazy world out there. Like their first system might have been a GameCube even,
It's true.
How it's like look at how great games were back in the 80s,
Yeah.
How it was all about coming together and playing a game nobody had played before, something like that.
Would this movie be as good if you put a current gen, like a PS3 in there or something?
Well, I don't know, because you have to do the arcade. The arcade has to be a part of it, because they play so many games on the road. Like everywhere they go to has to have an arcade of some sort, so they can do the betting, like with the adults and making the money. Like he's Jimmy Woods is the shark, pretty much, where he's like, oh yeah, no, he's a kid, young dumb kid, he can't play the game and all that, So it would have to be like a fighting game or something, like because arcades are kind of dead here.
Yeah.
They're still in Japan, but it would have to be like Guitar Hero or like Street Fighter or something like that, for it to be believable. Having whatever.
I say watch it. Enjoy it for the nostalgia factor. If you like video games, there's something there for you.
Yeah, you can get it. Well, you were saying you can get it for like $3 on YouTube, right? $2.99. Yeah, I was looking on Amazon, and you can buy it used for like $5. So if you want to own a DVD version of it, it's not that much. I'm sure if you find it in any sort of used video place, you could probably get it for a couple bucks. Like if you go to an actual store that has it, I'm sure they wouldn't sell it for very much. But yeah, it's pretty easy to get. It's totally worth having as a piece of history, and
yeah,
it's just it's one of those great like bad movie nights. If you ever want to just have some drinks and do a shot every time he says California, you'll be loaded.
Or you
in no
can
time,
you could put it on in the background while you're playing another game with your friends or something. Just have it playing.
Yeah, like whatever. Yeah.
Also, check out
Totally
Jenny
Anyway,
Lewis's music and Rilo Kiley, and if you haven't heard that, it's like we were saying earlier, she's a total rock star. She makes some really good music.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah! Like no, totally listen to Rilo Kiley and Jenny Lewis or anything that she's done. She's great.
Look her up in she's in an old Golden Girls episode. You might want to see that too. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, she was in a couple things. Like there were some other movies she was in too.
She was in Troop Beverly Hills, and she was in Pleasantville.
Oh yeah, she was in Pleasantville. I forgot about
also with Tobey Maguire.
that.
I just thought of that. Also with Tobey Maguire.
She got back together again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we went like over 2 hours for this, so I think we should probably wrap it up. But
sounds good.
Let's
sorry about
do our
being
normal
late.
thing. We're Nintendo. Yeah, sorry that we started a lot later than usual, but if we ever do another live show, we'll try to do it better next time.
Mhm.
There's always the technical issues with this type. But we're NintenDomain Podcast. This has been our 100th episode. You can find us on iTunes or any other place that podcasts are sold and all that fun stuff. We have NintenDomainPodcast.com is where you can find most of our stuff. YouTube.com/Fingernator. You can find stuff on there. I'm going to be streaming Romancing Saga 2 later today.
Cool.
I'm probably going to take a second and eat something, but probably around like 3 or so. If you guys want to tune in and check that out, I might stream it to YouTube. If not, you can find twitch.tv/NintenDomain Podcast. We do stream stuff on there. I just streamed like an hour, like just under 2 hours of ukulele on there last night. So I do, and then I did like Resident Evil Revelations and speed run of Super Empire Strikes Back and stuff like that. I've been doing retro games on Sunday and new Switch games on Thursday or Friday, depending on when they release. But always check that out. And I know Jeremy has some articles written for an Ardu Boy magazine. What's that called?
It's at ISSUU.
I think it's called Ardu Boy Magazine, right?
Yeah, you can just Google Ardu Boy Magazine. It's the only one that exists. So I'm in issue 11, right at the beginning I'm the first article in the magazine, so that's kind of cool. We got a bunch of YouTube links in there too, and I'm going to be trying to stream it a little more. I know I've said that in the past, but I finally think I'm getting my setup right, so I'm going to try to start streaming games on Tuesdays and probably look into like doing a new Switch game if possible as an excuse to buy a new Switch game every week.
What? Yeah, that's what I've been doing for Thursdays, just to try to play a new one every Thursday. And I've actually gotten some people watching stuff for that if it's new enough. But what I've also been doing is just whenever you're playing a game by yourself, just stream it. You don't even have to commentate on it. You can just turn on the mic and just play it and just stream it. Like I did that for like Mario 64 when I was playing that, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do. Like I was like, I want to play ukulele for a while, so I'm just going to stream it. That's kind of how I do it.
Well, all my stuff's hooked
and maybe
up
people will watch it. Maybe.
Yeah, everything's ready to go as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, because in my like game office, the switches go through the computer, so all I need to do is just turn on the streaming whatever, and it starts going. So I just try to stream every time I'm playing, not handheld. So do all this stuff. But yeah, anyway, and you can email us also at NintenDomainPodcast@gmail.com. But we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
John Litter.
And what do you guys want to go out on here? We always do our outro song, but since this is a live one, I think one of us should actually introduce it. My original idea was to go out to "Send Me an Angel,"
That's what I was going to say.
Which is another song from the soundtrack of the. But since we've been talking about Jenny Lewis and all that, I thought about going out to a Ryla Kiley song. What do you guys think?
Ooh, that's better. That's even better.
Do it.
Well, my personal favorite album was The Execution of All Things.
Yeah.
And which you have that too, of course. I was either going to do the title song or the first song from it. The Good That Won't Come Out. That was always something that was on for me.
I like the good one.
I say we do that one. Anyway, thanks for listening. Tune in next week for our episode 101. We're going to do some wonderful 101 stuff. I'm hoping to get a guest for it, so we'll see what we can do. Or if you're listening right now and you're a big fan of Wonderful 101, send us an email at NintenDomainPodcast@gmail.com and you can be on the show next week.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thanks a lot.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas and Hanukkah and stuff.
Let's get together and talk about the modern age. All of our friends were gathered there with their pets, just talking shit about how we're all so upset about the disappearing ground. As we watch it melt, it's all the good that won't come out of us, and how eventually our hands will just turn to dust if we keep shaking them, standing here on this frozen lake. I do this thing where I think I'm real sick, but I won't go to the doctor to find out about it, 'cause they make you stay real still in a real small space as they chart up your insides and put them on display. They see all of it, all of me, all of it, all of the good that won't come out of me, and all the stupid lies I've lived. It's such a big mistake, lying here in your
Thanks. Later.
Thanks a lot, guys. It's a hymn.
Here we go.
All right. I'll stop streaming now.
Did you stop?
Well, what should I... Hold on a moment. What should I call this video?
Episode 100 live extravaganza, Superbots plus cats. I don't know.